Yo, what's good? My name is H2. I'm a super music producer, audio engineer, sound designer, all that good stuff. I've been producing for the past 10 plus years. I've been in the music industry. Got some, placements, TV placements, film placements, song placements, all that good stuff, right? Work with some of your favorite producers, blah, 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 blah. That's irrelevant because you don't need all that in today's age to make money with music. Um, and I'm going to dive in, some of the ways that you can make money as a music producer in 2025. So let's get into it. So, um, a lot of people don't know about, um, the laws and licensing their music correctly. They don't know all the different types of royalties that they should be collecting. Um, they don't know how to register the royalties correctly. And the record labels really don't want you to know how to do all this, so they kind of gatekeep it, and they also make deals behind the table with all these major platforms that you're supposed to be collecting your music from, and um, a lot of these agencies, kind of like credit bureaus, if you know anything about credit. A lot of these agencies are just creating more and more laws, basically to try to make it harder for you to collect your music, or collect your royalties. But nowadays it's getting a lot easier because we have access to like AI, so we could search up a lot of this stuff. But still, people are lazy, and trust me, we're all lazy. But yeah, so when it comes to music royalties, there's really like seven different royalties that you can collect, right? And I should have a list here to break down every single thing. So let me see if I can find one of my old little documents. Uh, All right. So we're gonna break down all the different types of music royalties that you can collect as a music producer. So one, we have performance royalties. Now, performance royalties is what you would collect through your PRO, like ASCAP, BMI, CSAC. Now, public performances, a lot of people think like, okay, what is public performances? Like, okay, so in, anywhere someone uses your song and there is a person behind it and it's not you, that's a performance royalty. Okay? And it's normally when it's on a platform that is monetizable, because if they're not making money, you can't make money, right? Now, for this includes radio, this includes movies, live TV, any type of live performance, live shows, like really Kick, Twitch. If someone's on YouTube Live, you're supposed to get performance royalties for all of that. Now, the thing about all those is because there's so much music and so many artists out there that it's hard. We're not really hard to keep track of it, but these platforms like ASCAP is not running down and watching everyone stream to listen if your songs. Right, you just kind of have to know, and then once you know, you're able to put that into the system. Now, realistically, no one's really making money from those type of platforms, but a platform for like TikTok, YouTube, you know, Snapchat, Roblox, like live games, um, Instagram, Facebook, all those platforms you can collect performance royalties from. And that's just ASCAP, okay? Now, another type of performance royalties is like micro sync, okay? Now, there's a performance royalties on somewhat of like the master side and then the writer side, and then there's also performance and micro sync royalties for um what was I thinking? For so yeah, the master and the writer side, and then also hmm, forget what I was gonna say, but it'll come back to me. So yeah, then there's mechanicals. So mechanicals is when someone reproduces your song. So if they remix it, or if they use a sample from one of your beats, one of your songs, um, or really if they remix the video on their TikTok and they add another audio onto it. Um, Now a lot of like DistroKid will say they collect mechanicals, but they really don't. They just collect streaming royalties. They don't really collect mechanicals. And if they do, it's rather it's on the writer side. It's not on your master side, right? So because you own the master, if you're independent, you're the only one who can collect any master royalties, which means you have to manually do it. DistroKid is not a royalty administration or collection agency or anything like that. That's why a lot of times when you sign a record label, they want your masters more than anything because that's where most money comes from. Um, and if they were to do a deal with like Apple or you know Android or Windows or like for a commercial or in a movie, something like that, like in the store when you hear music playing in the store, like all that, when they do their own like deals with a game, anything like that, they're selling, well, it's more so a licensing deal, but you can also get master royalties as well, depending on the contract structure that they have with those companies. So a lot of times they just do like upfront money and be like, hey, we don't want any royalties. You can use our song indefinitely for like 50,000. You know what I mean? Um, but for smaller companies, you could be like, okay, if you can only afford 5,000, give that as an advance. We still want, 100% of the royalties or some way. Um, so yeah, mechanicals you collect with rather the MLC, which is the mechanical license. Uh, well, the mechanical license. Uh, M- I know what it stands for. MLC Music Collective. Mechanical License Collective. Now this is like, I wouldn't say it's government, but it's pretty much the government of music royalties. Okay, so you get paid from Spotify, Apple, blah blah blah. So you see how here it says streaming royalties. You also get paid from Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, all that. And you know how it says the master recording. You also get paid from Spotify. So these are three different checks you should be getting just for your Spotify streams. So if you're getting if you're getting $1 per 1,000 streams or per 1,000 views, you should be getting $3 because you should be getting three different checks. But they don't all come at the same time, and it's not like all these companies pay you at the exact same time, so it's not easy to necessarily track every single penny. Now with AI, it's a lot easier because you can just download all the statements, upload it to GPT, and then have it analyze it and regenerate a new PDF file. Then you can just send that to your tax people and all that good stuff. But you guys aren't there yet. So um, yeah. So next is sync licensing. I'm pretty sure we know what sync licensing is: direct license to or sync a user. So a company that I'm using right now to get some of my music or some of my beats like on certain marketplaces and libraries like the YouTube Music Library or the CML, which is CapCut's music library, which is owned by in the same company that owns TikTok and TikTok's music library and like all these online music libraries where they give you a direct licensing fee. So the licensing fee, it fluctuates between how much how much like how many other people they're licensing music from. So if you're the only person they're licensing music from, of course you're going to get most of the pot. But if there's 10,000 other agencies and creators that they're licensing music from, which normally are record labels, but they actually want to work with independent artists more because they can pay us less and we're still happy, right? So, company for that one, at least one company for that is Music Reports. Now, with Music Reports, what I would do is when you sign up for all of and you opt in for all of the direct licensing, I would like upload all of your beats on there or all of your songs because the more the barrier, right, the more chance you have of those songs being placed into certain licensing catalogs. Um, so I would send that to, directly to like uh, head of music at Spotify, or not at Spotify, but head of music at Snapchat, head of music at TikTok, and reach out to these people and say, hey, like I have a deal with you through Music Reports. Um, I wanted to know if I can have a direct line of contact, something like that. You know what I mean? Um, And then also another thing, like if you're signed to BeatStars Publishing, I'm currently a BeatStars Publishing member. So when I submit songs, well, I know that even apart from that, I had songs that were, on BET and ATV and, all these sync placements. Now, I work with it was through a third party music licensing company that's like they sell catalogs to the labels. or they sell catalogs directly to, like the people that handle the music at those companies. So there's a company called, it's owned by Sony. It's actually Sony's Music. Uh, Sony's Music. Man, I forget what it's called. Sony's Music. Uh, I don't know. I'm typing this, bro. Hold on, I'm gonna get it for you. No, it's just called the library. So it's called it should be here. Extreme Music. So Extreme Music is Sony Music's library, and all of these are just like independent artists. I mean, some are major, some are like major composers, producers, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like sub agencies who you can reach out to and get connected to uh, get your music in movies and stuff. So it's really just like the music advisors and executive producers and stuff that have made deals with these licensing companies. And this Extreme is owned by Sony. So I don't know if Extreme was a thing first and they had some success and Sony bought them out, or if Sony started this themselves. I don't know, but that's the company that I work with, and they pay, or you can get sync licensing from. So performance, mechanical, sync licensing, now micro sync. Now micro sync is the same thing of sync licensing, but on a micro scale. So sync would be TV, movies, that's major. The micro is like um, it's TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. Okay, those are the main three. Now, if your music is synced to short form videos, a lot of people don't know that TikTok, like they say they don't pay micro sync royalties, but legally you're owed micro sync royalties because they only did deals with the major labels like not DistroKid, Sony, Universal, Warner, all those people. But they didn't do a deal with you, right? You didn't sign no contract saying, hey, if your creators use my music, you don't have to pay me sync royalties. No, they owe us sync royalties. So in order to collect those sync royalties, you have to properly register them in ASCAP. Yes, ASCAP pays micro sync royalties. They just name it internet royalties. And then also, you know, the MLC or Harry Fox will give you mechanical royalties on those because they also count as like song reproduction in a way. Um, so yeah, we have the micro sync, and then you have your master recording. So the master is the usage of the actual sound recording. So it's just another paycheck that you're getting. And it says like DistroKid and distribution and stuff like that. But honestly, I wouldn't use DistroKid. I would use Songtrust to collect your masters. Um, and then you have streaming royalties. Of course, we know what that is. That's for DistroKid. Okay, that's really DistroKid. And then you have YouTube Content ID, which is not really necessarily royalties, but it is money. Well, it kind of is royalties, but um, obviously, if people use your music in YouTube, not only could you get a performance, mechanical, and micro sync royalty, you could also get paid directly from YouTube Content ID. Um, if you don't know what that is, just look it up. Basically, it's paid from their ad revenue, so it's not coming from streamings directly. Like it's not coming from impressions or views or plays. It's coming directly from ad revenue. Neighboring rights, which they never really make any money. Unless you have a deal with like the biggest restaurants or like you got a deal with McDonald's or something, and your music is playing every day in McDonald's, then you will see some money. But most likely, you're not going to see much money from that, even if you're the biggest artist in the world. They probably may only see like 50 to 100,000 a year from that when they're making 10 million. You know what I mean, from the other stuff. So, but that's sound exchange. Then you have print royalties, which is like if you're a composer, someone uses your actual, your like chord progressions. Like if you're, what's his name, like Beethoven. You know what I mean? Like so, if you play, you can get print royalties from that. Um, or if they could just straight up sell, buy your like physical album, that's also print royalties. Um, yeah, and then even they have NFT royalties, which really just people supporting you. I would just consider that like donations. So it's not really royalties. I think that's pretty much it. So you need ASCAP, you need MOC. Harry Fox is kind of hard to get into independently. Um, Sync royalties, find some sync licensing agencies, reach out to music supervisors, executives, all that good stuff. Try to go to like meetings that they have around the world where they go to like anything around music and music business, even if it seems super like white collar, like just go there, talk to these people because you never know who is who. Then you got, of course, your distributor. I recommend Sound On. That's owned by TikTok. Not sure what's gonna happen when if they ever ban TikTok. So it's kind of 50-50. It's kind of wishy-washy. I do still use DistroKid because they're like the fastest to the distributors, but they're also unreliable. They just took down two of my accounts from music, like all my music, without no explanation or anything. So very disappointed about that. Um, then you have your streamer royalties, so Song Trust, um, Content ID, Sound Exchange, your neighboring rights. And if you, obviously, this is a lot of work. You know what I mean? And you have to manually do each one. And if you're not a big producer or artist, you may think like, bro, what's the point of all this? Because I'm not even making money. You know what I mean? But that's a lie. They want you to think you're not making money, and they want you to think you need to be famous to make a lot of money, but you don't. Okay, you don't need to sign no record label, no deal, no nothing to make a living, full time living off of your music. You just need to be consistent, grow your small little personal brand, get 10,000 fans, and you can literally make 100,000 a year just off those 10,000 fans if you have the right strategies and systems in place, right? Which is everything that I teach in my ASU community, which right now has a 3 day trial. You can come and learn as much as you can. And if you don't like it, cool. You don't have to pay anything. If you like it, you can stay. Pay $20. It's only $20 a month, and I literally give y'all so much game. I teach you how to register every single thing, how to upload your songs, all the different streams that I'm making money. You know, techniques. Show you how to use AI um, to make music, make samples, make drum shots, one shots, anything you can think of, phrases, accents, MIDI even. Like you can do everything with AI now, and it's getting better and better and better and better. So I show you my streaking strategies on these platforms, how to clone artists, how to run artists, YouTube faceless YouTube channels and make money from that. Like the list goes on. So if you want to make money, you want to change your life this year, and you want to start doing music production full time, you need this course because there ain't no other course out there on the planet. You feel me? You can search it out right now. AI music production course. Boom, boom, boom. They're all gonna be trash. Not gonna give you half, 10% of what's in this course. So definitely click the link in the bio if you want to join. And if you learned anything, give me a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share it to a fellow producer, and I'll see you on the next one.